Lorraine Sorlet As the UAL misconduct scandals continue to unfold, our gender team is providing updates and analysis in a new newsletter. Today, Cain Miller, who writes about gender and the workplace, takes on UAL harassment training programs. Sign up here to receive future installments of this newsletter, and tell us what you think. Ignite Gender at nytimes.com. And in case you missed it, feminism is Merriam-Webster's word of the year. One of the most frustrating things about the rampant UAL misconduct coming to light is that it seems easy enough to not be a harasser. Just treat women with respect, as human beings, and keep your pants on and your hands to yourself. Simple, right? But clearly it is not that simple, as each day's fresh allegations make clear. As of Monday, Mario Batali was the latest in the Predator Advent calendar, as I like to call it, coinage courtesy of Lainey Gossip. Preventing harassment requires companies to take responsibility, and it's pretty obvious that most corporate UAL harassment trainings don't work. As a writer covering gender for The Upshot, a Times site for analysis of policy and economics, it is my job to dissect the research on any given topic, and deliver it in a way that our readers and I can understand. This week, I tackled UAL harassment trainings, reading the research and talking to experts in the field to try to understand what, if anything, works. I had planned to find the most effective corporate training and then attend, but I ran into a problem. No one could point to one. Instead, most of the experimentation and research about what works has been done on college campuses and in the military, places where the MeToo moment happened earlier than in corporate America. So, I looked there instead, and found that the answer is a variety of things, but one thing in particular. It's called bystander intervention, and the research shows it works. The reason, experts say, is that it makes preventing harassment everybody's responsibility. And it's not as intimidating as it is. Most experts don't recommend confronting the harasser in the moment. Instead, they offer bystanders, or witnesses, a range of options, so that they can choose the one they're most comfortable with. We asked the artist Lorraine Sorlet to illustrate a few of these interventions. Here are 3 of them. Point 1. Disrupt the situation, get the person out of it, or distract the harasser. This was the approach taken by Charles Sonder, fondly referred to as Snackman, after a widely shared video surfaced in which he defused a fight on the subway by standing between the combatants, eating chips. Lorraine Sorlet 2. Confront the harasser. You can do this later, when the harasser is less likely to escalate the situation, by asking questions like, were you aware of how you came off in that conversation? Researchers also suggest talking openly about inappropriate behavior, like asking colleagues, did you notice that? Am I the only one who sees it this way? Lorraine Sorlet 3. Ask if they're okay. It might seem obvious, but researchers say it's crucial to check in with a victim and offer to help, like offering to go with them to HR, if they want. So many victims blame themselves, so a bystander saying, this isn't your fault, you didn't do anything wrong, is really, really important, said Sharon Potter, a sociologist at the University of New Hampshire, who runs a research group there for UAL violence prevention. Lorraine Sorlet. From our readers, in our inaugural newsletter, we wrote that the MeToo moment had become something larger, a lens through which we view the world. We've been collecting reader stories since then, and pulled together comments on UAL harassment trainings and bystander intervention. Comments have been edited and condensed. We also want to hear from you. Was there a time you intervened as a bystander, or when someone jumped in on your behalf? What bystander intervention strategies have you employed? Write to us at nightgender@nytimes.com. Treat others how you want to be treated. In the end, any session should wind up with the recognition that the age-old dictum of do not do to others that which you would not have done to you still applies to all human interactions. For what it's worth, in my career I have found myself in very uncomfortable situations with women in the workplace abusing their power both administratively as well as legally. This is not a one-way street. George N. Wells, Dover, NJ. What constitutes harassment? We're required to complete a series of interactive training videos where I work community college. What I found helpful was simply learning all the things that constitute harassment. I teach gender stuff, yet there were things I learned and still think about. The whole thing is geared toward an assumed bystander viewer, which now that I think about it, is pretty clever. JS, New York. This isn't complicated. There are plenty of very complex problems in this world. Sexual harassment isn't one of them. Point 1. Don't do it. Just don't. Point 2. Fire people who do. Get rid of them. Nothing they contribute is as valuable as what they are taking away. Point 3. Be kind. Hire kind people and treat them kindly. Kindness is contagious and happy workers are better workers. If I can expect my child to get through the day at school without creating an incident and my dog to leave my food on my plate alone, adults can be expected to behave appropriately toward one another at work. SLM, Charleston, SC. Read more about ways to prevent UAL harassment. That work here and sign up here to receive future installments of the MeToo Moment newsletter. Cain Miller is a correspondent for The Upshot, where she writes about gender, families and the future of work. Follow her on Twitter at Claire.com.